helping me work from home this week? Crazy, scary times for you too this week? In this video, I am dusting off my crisis communications hat from my PR agency days and talking about how you can equip your creative small business from a copywriting and communications standpoint during this crazy worldwide pandemic we're in. One of my very favorite podcasters, Ali Stuckey, said that this is a time to be prepared and not panicked. I love that, so I'm gonna swipe it. So that is my prayer for you as you listen to this video. By the end of it, you are gonna have some copywriting swipes that you can take away and use as you communicate with your clients and your customers during this delicate time. Let's go. Hey there, if we haven't met yet, my name is Ashlyn Carter. I'm a conversion copywriter and brand and launch strategist for creative small businesses like yours. And as we get started, two big things about crisis communications to keep in mind. Number one, it's never a question of if, but when. These things are always going to happen. The people that have been in business since 2008, 2009 know this. They have told us this before, but we know that we need to have things in place and be prepared for moments like this to happen, right? The second thing, and I will link down below a partnership webinar that I did with my friends at Honeybook. That's the client relationship management tool that I use in my small business. Anyway, we did a webinar with them. It was so great, with a financial expert and an attorney as well, where we talked through some of the things. I'm going to communicate to you the communications part of that in this video. But all that to say, Natalie Franke said this and I loved it. Don't forget, if you're an entrepreneur watching this, that this is what you're born and bred to do. This is hopefully, if you're doing the right thing, what your heartbeat is. Figuring out how to help people, how to serve them, how to solve their problems, and really step into the gap and create space, hold space for them, and get in there and help them figure out what they are trying to solve in life. This community of creatives is resilient. It's why I love working with creatives so much. So I hope that that inspires you and reminds you of how you're built innately if you're watching this. Okay, let's get into the tips that I have for you. Tip number one, use this time to make an internal and external communications plan. So like I said, in my former life, when I worked in communications agency, one of the accounts I was on was the Delta Airlines account, and learned so much there. My husband works for the airline now. We are truly a Delta family. But one thing that was so interesting that I learned is how the company prepared for crisis communication. So here's what would happen. Once a year, it would be kind of like the middle of the night, and they would simulate a plane crash and then respond appropriately. So all the channels would go out, people would be firing in the right directions, talking to the right people, but through that simulation, they got to then be prepared and know that things are in place if God forbid this should happen. That's creating a crisis communications plan. And even if you're a creative small business, you can do the same thing. Now, chiefly, you have two big publics that you want to create this for, both the internal publics and your external publics. So your takeaway tip for this, number one, is to spend some time creating this. And I have a little freebie below of some swipes that you can use. These are ones that I've pulled from those days, ones that I have learned as I've been reading and trying to educate myself more on this, but you can look down below and grab that freebie. But let me go through some of these internal and external things I want you to think about. From an internal standpoint, and even if it's just you on your team right now, go ahead and start to think through these things. What are your work from home policies? How will you adjust now that people have their kids home a little bit more? Number two, think through how you're going to elevate things up. So say a client or a customer comes in with some sort of emergency. Are they talking to an associate on your team, to a customer service representative, or do you want to communicate to your team that things like that, emergency situations, immediately go up the chain and come directly to you? Start to fashion some sort of a plan and communicate it to people that work with you or your contractors so they understand what to do if something arises. Promise the last thing you want is for somebody to go out there and be a voice and a mouth for your brand when you're like, oh my gosh, they didn't need to say that. That wasn't what was supposed to be communicated, right? So think through how you want that to go. And then the third thing I want you to figure out here is get no comment out of your system. This is one of my pet peeves left over from journalism school, but please don't say no comment. I'll give you some more tips on that in the next point, but one thing I just want you to think about here is starting to get that out of your system. Again, we'll solve it in the next step, but that's your tip here. Okay, let's talk about external communications. Three things I want you to start thinking through here. Number one, how are you displaying concern about the current environment that's out there? Number two, can you communicate some of the credible sources that you're learning from? Think about that Honeybook webinar that I mentioned and I linked below. Can you start to communicate to your clients, hey, I've been in touch with an attorney on my team. I've listened to an attorney. I've listened to a communications expert talk about this. And these are some things that we are doing to keep you and your best interests in mind. And the third thing to think through here, do you need any sort of mini PR plan or communication strategy out there and going? And my personal 2 cents on this is you do need something right now, whether it is a static blog that's going to live on your website, a banner at the top of your website, some sort of smattering of social media posts out there. But I do think everybody could better their business with some sort of communications going out about this when it comes to a PR standpoint. All right, as you think through your external and your internal communications, those 6 hot things that I just gave you to think through, don't forget to look down below and grab that crisis communications copy swipes. You can use those. I'm gonna go ahead and move into the next tip, which is to adjust your sales calendar, because selling during all this can look a little icky if done inappropriately. I don't know if you follow the Goop brand. They posted this on Instagram over the weekend, right about the time that everything's canceling. It came across not very well and they heard about it. When it comes to crisis communications, the strategy is just to get ahead of the story. Start communicating now. Start showing your clients and your customers now that you care about this. Because like I said when I was talking about the no comment thing earlier, when you don't say something or you just ignore everything, people start to make their own suppositions and you don't want them to interpret the wrong thing from your communications just because you're not saying the right thing, right? Your takeaway tip for this tip number 2 is to craft one piece of communications to put out there this week that shows your clients and your customers that you care deeply for them and you're here to serve them. Let me show you a great piece of customer communication I got at the end of last week and tell you 5 quick things that I learned from it. Okay, here it is, so you can see the copy in it. The first thing I loved is that it actually said personally in it, so this was a personal reach out from the CEO of the business. This is your time for people to hear from you, not your associate, not somebody else on your team, but you. The second thing I liked is that it told me about how the company is being flexible and nimble and making some arrangements that may not have been the most comfortable, but they're doing it on behalf of their customers and their clients. The third thing I liked is that it reminded me how they are in contact with the best of the best. Like I said in the first thing, it helps right now to go ahead and communicate to your clients and your customers these trusted, credible brand names: the World Health Organization, the CDC, your attorney that you're talking to, your financial planner for your business, a communications expert, or the HoneyBook webinar that you're watching. Go ahead and not drop names in this. That can start to help your clients and customers think, hey, you know what? She knows what she's doing. She's going to the experts. She's putting in the hours and the work for me. Another thing I liked from this piece of client communications is it gave me tips. I went to a conference the other week right before all of this hit, and one thing I loved is that every single bathroom that you walked into, there was a big placard on the wall that talked about best hand washing tips and some other ways to stay safe. Even the Purell dispensers all over the place were just that one more reminder that this company was looking out for me. So how can you communicate that with your clients and your customers? Even if it's giving them ideas of how they can help their community during this time, that's still good. That's still a tip that you can give to serve them. And the last takeaway from this piece of copy and communications is it told me 3 practical things that this company is doing to take action for me, the client that has paid a lot of money to them. So I want you to craft something like this for your business. And again, whatever outlet you're going to be using to publish this may depend. And I will say here, how many times is this that moment where you get emails in your inbox from companies that you think, when did I even sign up for your emails? So don't be that person. Let this be a lesson for you that you need to have regular communications with your people so you never end up being the person in that weird, who is this guy kind of comeback period. One more hot tip for this: doing the right thing beats spin every single time. And this is the time to lean on your core values or even use that as something to communicate to your people. If you've never developed your core values before and my Copywriting for Creative students, you definitely have. So this is a time to start pulling those out and communicating them. But I have a resource that I'll link you below if you've never figured out your core values that may help you out. And communications tip number 3, update your contract right now. So I don't know if you watch This Is Us. I love it. And Randall and Beth are just the best couple, right? Well, they play this game, if you watch the show, you know it, where they kind of go to the worst case scenario and they say like, what, this is my fear, this is gonna happen. And then they kind of like, it breaks, right? They get over it. Saying it and putting it out there kind of calms their nerves a little bit. To me, that's the power that a good, firm contract can have. Now, I am not an attorney or a lawyer at all, but one thing I've learned the more I have been a creative small business owner is that having that lock, that airtight contract in place, one thing that can really help is then if I look at my communications that I'm bringing in as I onboard customers, as I bring them on in my business, and I look at those onboarding communications as the opportunity that I have to reiterate some of those things that are in my contract, because the client or the customer isn't reading every single bit of that And plus, it can be jargony sometimes, right? But if I'm able to turn around and communicate those in onboarding communications and client magazine and a welcome magazine in a way that's beautiful, that's encouraging, and that tells my client how I'm looking out for them, and I'm not just trying to cover my booty with the contract, that can help. So use this time to make sure you have a really firm contract in place, but that you're also doing a really good job to communicate to your client the things that are in that contract that they have signed on the line about. I get all my contracts from the contract shop. My friend Christina, who's actually the attorney for my business, is the one behind those. They're brilliant. I will link them below. They are so good. But now is the time to just make sure that all that is in place. Again, I'll point you back to that honeybook video that we did last week. If you want to watch it, I learned a lot from listening to my friend Paige, who's an attorney, what she also recommended, and I'll leave this tip with you as well. It's probably not the best time for you to go back to your clients and say, hey, by the way, can you sign this new contract that I have? Maybe don't do that right now. Now is the time though to prepare, so on the aftermath of all of this, you do have something in place that's really firm. Last communications bonus tip, don't forget to think through how you can add levity during a situation like this, whether it's an encouraging word or a note about how you can help others in your community. Go ahead and do that. Even something as simple as a retweet of something that made you smile during these times can help brighten people's day during a little bit of some uncertain times. Don't forget to look down below and grab that copy swipe for some crisis comms that you can use in your own business. Hit like if this video helped you out, and if you're realizing, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be one of those people that pops into an inbox and people have no idea when they signed up for my emails, you may need a good welcome sequence. That's why I'm gonna tee you up with this video to watch next with some of my very best welcome sequence copy tips. I'll see you there. Look, ta-ta, look. Can you say bye-bye? Say bye-bye. Okay.